There's a lot of talk about freedom. And as somebody who grew up, in the 70s, I was a teenager in the 70s, and a lot of people were talking about freedom. And usually what they meant by freedom was, nobody tells me what to do. I can go wherever I want to, I can do whatever I want to. Nobody is telling me what I can do, what I can't do. Okay? And also, freedom is still a popular topic today. There's a lot of people talking about freedom. And usually, if somebody has freedom in their title or their theme or whatever, it usually means nobody tells me what to do. Nobody's above me telling me what I can do. So it means, I've got my autonomy, I've got my FU money, I'm free. Because I'm independent. Independent. I don't depend on anyone. And that's a very popular idea. But it's really, in a sense, just a very external one. Because if we look at the way the world is, did you decide when you were born? No, you didn't. As Princess Anne said, when they were celebrating her 50th birthday, she said, well, thank you for congratulating me on something I had nothing to do with, because it was my parents that caused me to be born. So we don't even decide when we're going to be born. We don't have that. And we are bound in this physical world. We're bound by certain laws. I can say that I want to fly around all day, but gravity is still going to be working. I can jump off a cliff and say, hey, I want to fly. But that's not going to get me anywhere, is it? Unless I bought a squirrel suit and I know how to use it. Also, I could decide that I'm not going to breathe in anymore. And how long do you think that would last? There are certain things that we just can't do. Or we're bound by certain things that we just can't do. So we are not completely free in that sense. If we could just do whatever we wanted to, whenever and wherever we wanted to. But there's another idea, there's another sense of freedom that I want to talk about, and that's more like internal freedom. Based on this kind of idea. That we are in this physical world as a preparation for the next world. So we already, before we were born, we're in the water world inside our mom, and then we come out. And when we're in the world of air. Now this world doesn't last forever either, but the next world, which we're preparing ourselves for, is where our spirit goes. And the atmosphere of that world is love. So if we are free to love and be loved, then we are truly free. And a simple way to test this, because the new teaching is clear that when you go to the spiritual world, there's no person standing at a desk going, you down, you up, you down, you up. No, you go where you are comfortable. You go where you want to go. Now, I used to think, well, I'm fine, I'm great. But then I had this experience, In my church, my wife and I, we sit in the same place every week, every Sunday. Well, when we go, which isn't every Sunday now, because we're a long ways away. Anyway, we sit in the same place inside the church. But afterwards, they serve a lunch, usually. And then you're in a room full of tables. Where do you sit? And you could ask yourself, how many of these people could I sit with? How many of these people do I feel like, oh yeah, I can sit with them, I can sit with them, I can sit with them? I don't know, that's really, not really comfortable with that. So that right there is a way to measure how free are you. Or if you go to school, on the schoolyard, who are you comfortable hanging out with? Or to your college, in the cafeteria, or if your school is a cafeteria, could I sit at any table here? Could I sit with any of these groups of people? That's an immediate measure. That's an immediate way to see how free I am. Now, Jesus was free to go and sit with anybody. He sat in the temple and spoke to the priests. He sat in the tavern and talked with the prostitutes and the tax collectors. He had no problem talking with people who had committed sins. He had no problem talking with any kind of people. He was free. And our true Father, he would go and talk with homeless people and cut their hair and listen to their life stories. He would sit with the prostitutes and talk with them and listen to their life stories. He could sit with farmers, with laborers, with prisoners, with prime ministers, with kings and queens. He could talk. He could be with any group of people, fishermen. It didn't matter. Black, white, yellow, red, any color, any type of person, any kind of work. Father was free in that sense. And so I think the real question is that here in these United States, there's external freedom. And it's not 100%, is it? You're not free to drive on any side of the road you want to. You're not free to drive backwards on the interstate. Similarly, can we go to any place in our city? Can you go to any place in your town? Could you knock on any door and be welcomed in and just be able to sit down with them and be comfortable with them? Or would you be very, very, very uncomfortable and can't wait to leave? And so the freedom we're talking about is not just external freedom. It's internal freedom. Are there places we can't go? Are there people we just can't talk to? Can we talk to liberals? Can we talk to conservatives? Can we talk to rednecks? Can we talk to hippies? Can we talk to artists? Can we talk to tax accountants? Can we talk to anybody? How free are we? How free are we really? That's the real question. Because if we are free to go anywhere and feel comfortable, that is true freedom. This physical world, our physical bodies don't last forever. I'm about to turn 70. And the message is clear. This ain't going to last forever. But in our spirit and our heart, how free are we? How free are we to talk to any kind of person? How free are we? Are there places we can't go? Are there things we can't talk about? Are there situations we have to avoid because it's too much? That's a direct measure of how free we are. When we talk about liberation, we're talking about liberation that we are not burdened by these things. There's not some people that hurt us however many years ago that we just can't even think about, let alone talk to them, let alone be friendly with them or kind. How free are we? So what is real freedom? Freedom of the heart, freedom of the spirit. That's real freedom.